From everyone who's been given much, much will be demanded. And from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked. Now, raise your hand if you've been blessed. See, I asked that question a few weeks ago, and almost every hand went up. And what that means is we understand what part of the story we are. Much is demanded from those who have been entrusted with much. In other words, we will decide if we're going to worship money or we're going to use money to worship God. In the Next Steps classes that start September 17th, if you haven't done them, we have a small section talking about this subject because it's an important discipleship subject. And then we give you, just like the prayer section, a tool to use to move forward in this discipline. I'm going to give you that same tool today, but I just want you to know it's a tool. This is something between you and God. This isn't you don't turn it in. We're not looking at it. Nothing like that. This is for you and God, a tool if you want to move forward in this discipline. So we start with what percent. Let's do a percent of your income, your check, or however you make money. How are you going to use that to worship God? My giving goal will be this percent. You decide. The Bible talks about the 10th. Talks about the 10th and the 10% and all those kinds of things, but maybe you're not there yet. Just start with something. Just start to move with 1% and then have some hurdles that you want to see certain things to move to 2, 3, 4. Do what you need to do, but start with something to make this discipline part of your life. For some of you, you've been giving 10% for a long time and you're feeling pretty good about yourself. Maybe the sermon's for you to move it up. It's like maybe it's not to point your finger at all of those not tithing, but God's saying, I want you to grow in this discipline like every other discipline you're supposed to grow in. Why not this one too? Maybe this message was actually for you, and you need to move it up. That's on you. Again, this is you and God conversation. If I get a raise, this is all part of the worksheet that we give out, my percent will raise to this percent. If I get a bonus, this percent I'm going to give. My tax refund offering will be this. And I know this all sounds weird. You're like, what are we? Did we just move into a different class? No, I get it. I understand this is weird. But we sometimes need to have tools and action steps if we're actually going to move forward with discipleship. Do it with all the discipleship issues, and this is one of them. And I also understand that some of you are going through some difficult circumstance where this is not the message you want to hear. You've got something medical has happened and you're just underwater. You have a divorce happening that's just destroying all of the finances. You've got lawsuits going on. Yeah, I get that. I still need to teach it because we go chapter by chapter and we're here, but you and God work that out. If you can move this discipline forward. The other thing it says is I will raise my giving in 2024 by this percent. And the concept is every year you're continuing to push yourself with discipleship. When my kids first got jobs, I was so excited. My first two got jobs and I'm like, finally I'm going to get these kids out of my house. I was so excited. I'm just kidding. I'm not quite that harsh. But I grabbed both of them. They both had their first paycheck. And I go, all right, here's how it's going to work. Your first 10% is going to go to your church or your mission that you want to support. But that 10% goes because if you do that right now, at the beginning of your walk with God, it's the hardest discipline to add later. If you can add it early, the rest of the disciplines become much easier. You're aligning with God from day one. And then I said, you will give 25% into investment funds, and you will give 10% into a savings fund for your car or anything that you're going to want down the line. And then you can live off the 55%. You can do whatever you want with the 55%. And they agreed. It wasn't really a choice, but they agreed. But it was a plan. And they live at home eating my food, so 55%'s plenty for them, so it might be different for you. But the point is you make a plan and say, I'm gonna set this up right now in my life.